Hello, welcome to another tonal landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Riffing on Granville Redmond. It's a 6x8, and I did it last week, and I really, really like this painting, and I know, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you will too. Now, if it's looking familiar, it's because I've made a I've made an actual study of this. And then I did a very small riff that was a 4x6. But something about this composition just really resonates with me, even though there's many aspects of Granville's actual painting I don't really like or love. So you can see my reference image that I came up with, which was manipulated extensively. It's kind of low res too, but it's a bit chunky. But what I did was I brought in purples, I brought in a bunch of interesting things, I brought in a very interesting sky, and which really made it, I think. And now the way I painted the sky ended up being quite a bit different from how it looks in the reference, but that happens sometimes. In fact, it happens to me more and more all the time. I really don't care much about what's happening with the reference. What I care about is what's going on with the painting. The reference is there to have something to spark, something to get you going. And it is very important. Inferior reference almost always produces or causes you to produce inferior paintings. That's just the way it is. Although that said, I have made good paintings from a very weak reference. Once, very early on, I just it was like a clump of weeds. Basically, I just turned the whole thing into kind of this tree with a creek and everything. It worked out really well, and that was one of the many eye openers on my painting journey. And which is honestly, it's an endless journey. I don't want you to think that I'm ever coming from a place of like, oh, I know everything, and good luck catching up. I will say I know quite a lot, but it's quite a deep um, enterprise to engage in landscape painting, and I knew that going in. And now, in my younger part of my life, when I was quite young, I was into comic books and things, and I really loved people like Frank Frazetta, and I really loved science fiction covers. And as far as comics themselves went, I wasn't really that into storytelling. I was very much into the finishes and things. So I trained myself up real well as an inker, and always a drawer too, of course. But yeah, not that storyteller type. And that was my passion, And then, but unlike a lot of my compatriots when I was young, I would also draw from photos. I had a pretty good balance of drawing out of my imagination and drawing from photos, which has served me very well. When I'm advising people to, come in my studio and they say, "Oh, I want to be an artist," I would say, "Well, just start off with drawing." I says, "You don't have to start painting right off the bat." I said, "Painting is awful fun, but 90% of what makes any painting great is the drawing, the composition, the proportions, the shapes, and their relationships to each other. The color, of course, if you have glorious color, that's just going to make your painting that much better. But glorious color, I've done glorious color on insufficient compositions, and those are bad paintings. It doesn't matter if the color was good. It doesn't matter if the brush handling was phenomenal. It doesn't matter if my values were right, if the composition itself is lacking or worse than lacking. You're not going to have a good painting. So you could, honestly, if I was to someone was come to me these days and say, "I want to be a great painter and I want to be great as quickly as I possibly can," I would say, "Well, you should paint for at least 2 hours every day, but maybe for a portion of those 2 hours, just draw little thumbnails of landscapes, work things out. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, 1 by 2 inches, that kind of size, and do thousands and thousands of those. That would be One thing that if I could go back, I don't do that now, actually. I don't really, need to. What I do now is I basically do skip a lot of that stuff by just working with my photo reference. And because of what's this? The book? Okay, we'll pick it up on the other side of the book. Hey, we've been shipping books, and I'm really happy and proud to send it to you anywhere on the planet. The cost is $60 right now, international shipping included. I haven't heard from the printer. They're having some problems with my next reorder. I still have stock though, so don't worry about that. But they're having problems with the color calibration. They know how picky I am, and you can see here in our little ad, the images look great. They look very true to my paintings, and order it. It's got condensed knowledge at your fingertips right there if you like what I do. And if you don't like what I do, I don't know why you're 6 minutes in, but just keep watching anyway. So I can look at a reference image. I've got thousands and thousands, and when I go out into nature and I take photos I might take 1,000 photos, and maybe 10 to 15 of those might be something I could use for a painting, and of those 10 to 15, odds are that none of them on their own would make a great painting. They just need to be massaged into something that would make a great painting. But you got the bones. That's what I'm always looking for. The shapes of the trees against the sky. As far as the proportions go, I can crop it many different ways. That's all covered in my book. There's a real good section on that. There's so many aspects and elements to landscape painting. It's amazing, really. But if you want to get good fast, concentrate on your drawing. Concentrate on doing small paintings, but not only small paintings. This is one place I kind of didn't do that great. Was I love doing small paintings because, of course, I was comfortable as an illustrator, and most of that work's done, at a size where you can, reach your two hands across, and that's what's happening. But and I love to just, take on the scene, do it. I'm done. I'm out. And I can do that larger now too, but I sure found that difficult when I was first starting out. And then the thing is that I would recommend to you, though, is to do a lot of small paintings, but every now and again get a like 5x7. I think 4x6 is a little cramped. When I do those very small sizes, that take quite a lot of discipline to paint that small. 5x7, though, is big enough. 6x8, the size I'm doing this, is perfect. You can do a fully realized painting at 6x8. It's easier than 5x7, even though it's just 1 inch bigger each way. That little bit, that 1 inch is the difference between being a little cramped and having plenty of room. And trust me, I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of 5x7s. I love the size. I just did some board prep on some 5x7s yesterday. And I'll always be doing 5x7s. I absolutely love it. And one of the reasons I really love 5x7s is it's very easy to find frames for 5x7s. And I can produce a 5x7 painting quickly that is effective. And, a tourist can come pick it up and take it home and have a lovely memento of their trip. Assuming it's a tourist that buys it. And that's a lot of times people who do buy these affordable, smaller paintings, they're looking for, first of all, they have some vacation money set aside. A lot of the rest of us might be cruising around the world. You maybe tip into a gallery or a place that's selling original art, and you go, "Ooh, wow, well, I like that, but I don't know if I can afford it right now because I've got all other financial obligations or whatever." And God bless the people that buy art. Some of you have bought my art from this channel, and I appreciate it. And I really should get my act together on the store. I had a pretty good setup going for a while where I just automatically would throw things in the store. And I would see some sales. But then the problem is, what would happen is then the paintings would go off to galleries, and I'd forget to take it out of the store, and then someone would buy it from the store, and then I got to get it from the gallery, which is, they're always pretty gracious about it, but it's not good. That's happened to me more than I care to admit. And since my kind of gallery business has picked up since the COVID, I've just decided I'm not going to worry too much about the store. But I would like to, if I could get a second clone of myself on board. I would definitely have him doing things like that. Yeah. But as it stands, after I finish recording this video, I'm going to go back to the studio. I'm home for lunch right now. And I'm going to do a painting of a nice kind of a road through coming out of the woods sort of scene. And I think that's going to be good, hopefully. I just did the drawing this morning. And, it's one thing, too. I want to say, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'd rather just sit there and watch a video than do a painting. Well, yeah, me too. Except that I realize that great truth that, you can, when you finish this video, make a, good video. I got some good ideas from Mike. I like Mike. He's trying his best to help me out. But really what you should do if you got any inspiration after watching one of my videos is go do a painting. And you go, oh, I don't have time, man. It's going to be bedtime in an hour. Well, why don't you do half a painting? Then why don't you do the drawing and then do the other half tomorrow? You can do all. In fact, I don't have that latitude a lot of times because my painting will get a little matte and look a little bad in the video camera. So I try not to do that. It's one thing that sort of keeps me working small and quick sometimes too, is I know that I can do the whole thing in the time where the paint's fresh and it looks good, But if I didn't have that as a constraint, you could just paint, a quarter of the painting every night, And let's think about that. The time that you spend watching the YouTubes is it's rewarding. Sure, I know that watching my channel must be very rewarding for you, but not as rewarding as doing some art. You're going to feel good about yourself if you do. Even if you fail, okay, you can go, oh God, no, I don't want to fail anymore. I can't take it. I can understand that. It is painful to fail, but just throw it away and you'll forget. We tend to forget the bad things. Just ask people to recall their past. They're not really that good at remembering the bad things. It takes some effort. We block it out, or you don't worry about it. If you do a bad painting, just get rid of it, and the odds are you will if you haven't done a lot. So one thing I say to my local students is go home and do a bad painting. And they go, I don't want to do a bad painting. Well, of course you don't. But if you say, I don't care, I'm going to do a bad painting. And if it's bad, that's fine, because I know I have to do a certain amount of bad paintings before I can do good ones. Then get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way. That's how I say it. And every failure, every bad painting you've ever done is folded into all your great work. Well, we got maybe a minute or so left. We're getting into some good tips here. Here's another just general life tip for you, okay? Negative ideas as regards to painting about your work or yourself. I get this all the time in my studio. People come in and, I'm not creative, I can't paint. And I will just say, I'll stop. I say, stop right there. I says, don't say that about yourself. And half the time the person that's with them will say, yeah, don't say that about yourself. But they think that's called false humility. It's not helpful humility. It's good to be humble. I'm not the greatest painter ever. Yeah, I do some good paintings, but I don't think I'm the most amazing ever, and most people don't. So you don't need to worry about that humility thing too much. Also, your negative self-talk, just in general, okay, to yourself, definitely don't do it. Don't tell yourself all the negatives. And you know what? Maybe you don't have this problem, but if you do, just word to the wise. Nobody wants to hear anything negative from you. They don't. Even if you're trying to be funny or whatever, they don't want to hear it. So if you got, when I was a kid, I used to say, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's a really good policy. And I've left it here at the very end of the video because I know that you might want to hear it. Anyway, until I come back with another video for your edification, hopefully for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid, take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family. And while you're doing all that, word to the wise, you gotta fight the power.